sure that we have a quorum. I'm going to call the roll. Commissioner Edwards, are you online?
I'm here, Judge.
Commissioner Morales?
I'm online, Judge.
Commissioner White?
I'm here.
Commissioner Bruns?
Here.
Okay. If I could ask all but the county attorney and the 4 commissioners to mute their phones. We're getting a lot of background noise. And then when we start the public comment, you can unmute your phone if you have something you'd like to comment on. So if you would do that at this time. I'll start us off with a word of prayer. We need that now, and we'll get started. Lord, I just ask you to give us guidance and protect us. Our county is in a bubble somewhat now, and we just ask you to continue with your protection. Give everybody wisdom to take the appropriate safeguards, and that you just keep us healthy. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
If it's okay with y'all, I'll suspend the Pledge of Allegiances today, and we'll go ahead and get started with our meeting. Let's begin with the public comment because I cannot see people's hands raised. So if someone has a comment, a public comment that they would like to make, please unmute your phone and proceed. Thank you.
Hey, Ken, if you click the participants at the bottom toolbar, it'll show you everybody's participant.
Okay. All right. So there's been no one wanting to comment, so we'll begin with we have a payroll approval. That's all that we have on our consent agenda today. You need a motion to approve payroll or ask any questions you have about it.
Did you see it?
What payroll day was that, Judge? That was last week?
We have a payroll that's in our packet. If anyone would like to make a motion to approve payroll, that would be good.
I'll make that motion.
Need a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We did the remainder of the consent agenda last week, so there will be none of that today. The first thing on the agenda is Commissioner Edwards wants to discuss action and approve the design and placement of the EMS station, fire station. Commissioner Edwards?
Yes, Judge. I wanted to talk about location and I mean, before we start trying to decide where we're going to put it, I think maybe it'd be a good idea to see how big it's going to be. You understanding? I heard.
I did not get any of that, Kenneth. There was some feedback on you.
Okay. What I was saying was, I think before we start trying to figure out how much land we need, maybe it'd be a good idea to design something so we sort of know how big we're going to be before we, we need to be looking for land, yes, but I think to get this ball rolling, a good start would be to get an idea of what we're going to need.
Just a minute, Kenneth. I would ask everyone to mute their phone that is not a commissioner or the county attorney, please, so that we can hear. It's difficult to hear. I'm sorry, Kenneth, go ahead.
What I was saying was, if, we to get this EMS building started and done, would be a good idea, I think, to at least know how big we're going to build it, so we kind of know what we have to have in the way of property to put it on. I also have, I'm thinking I don't believe the fire and the EMS will fit this location, but EMS could probably go in beside the food bank, going towards the sheriff's office on that road and fit without taking up a lot of my space in precinct 1 and save us the money of having to buy property.
Okay,
But to do that, I think that personally, I think we need to get an idea of just what we're looking at in the way of a building so we kind of know how much land we're gonna need. My idea is to get together with EMS and the liaison to the EMS and those involved with Alonzo and come up with something, and let's get an architect and get it designed. They're pretty good at telling us how big a room has to be for what we want to do in it, and let's get started on this so we have something to build on. So,
okay. Any other comments from the commissioners?
Go ahead.
This is Alonzo. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Commissioner Edwards. Let's go ahead and get a plan. I've got a preliminary plan, like I said before, I've told y'all before, so we can work off that plan and figure out what we need to come up with and meet with all the proper people to come up with a floor plan and then get a cost estimate. The only thing I might add to it is to allow some funds to be spent on the architect to draw up the plans for once we get to that.
yes,
Okay. I'm not sure where that money would come from. Rusty, are you on the line? Okay. Rusty, you heard the discussion. Can you provide a way to pay for architectural drawings and conceptual drawings of the EMS building in this budget?
I'm not aware of the line item in the current budget for that.
Okay, so I think did you say that there's no line item in the current budget to provide payment?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. Commissioner Edwards, where were you thinking you wanted to pay for this from?
I think we can take it out of the contingent and uncommitted fund.
Okay. I guess this is a segue to that. We have 3 murder cases, 3 homicides that will be wanting their fair share of this contingent and emergency fund. I would guess that those cases will kick in when this virus deal is over with and be using up those funds prior to the end of the budget year. So I don't have a crystal ball to know when all this is going to end, but we are. I've been told that we're going to run through our defense funds in the contingent money. So that's something to think about, I suppose.
On the architect cost on the transit building, that didn't cost us the whole 16,000, right? That we approved to spend. Wasn't it a lot less?
We've obligated ourselves for that 16,000, Commissioner.
Right. But if I remember seeing a check, it was just like 60. Well, it was a lot less, right? Am I right or wrong on that?
Well,
What he charged us, I mean.
I guess you're wrong because they haven't billed us for all their services that we've
Oh,
told
they
them.
haven't. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought that was a final bill. I'm sorry. Okay.
So I'm happy to let y'all approve this or give my blessing to it. I will tell you though that we have to have a way to pay for it legally before we can start spending money and flip the switch. And my other question is, how is it that we can build a building for the fire department, which is not a county entity? What's that look like?
Well, he had said on his agenda item that there might not be room for a fire department also. So I think if we would just design a EMS, and then if the city wants to, if there was room and the city wanted to jump in on a fire department add-on, then it would be an add-on to the structure, not really change the EMS side of it, I wouldn't think. And at one time we had I had the EMS personnel draw up a plan of what would work for them, and I still have that. I mean, it's just a sketch, but it'd be something they could go over, and then maybe with an architect or something that could maybe give them some other ideas.
Okay. This is just my thought only. I've done some checking and I've talked to the auditor about this, and he firmly believes that there's no line item or methodology for paying for this service. So what I told Commissioner Edwards at the last meeting or the meeting before that is that this needs to be put in the October budget, and whatever y'all vote to approve, then you're free to do that. Honestly, I don't think there's going to be much going on before October. I could be wrong, and I hope I am, but I just don't see a lot going on before then. So as far as losing time by waiting until October to budget this, I don't think there's a great loss. Commissioner White had spoken to the mayor, and she had given him an additional 6 months, was my understanding. I was not there, but that would put us all the way into February before that 18-month period had run out. So, gentlemen, what's your pleasure? That's all the facts I have about it. So,
I also talked to TAC, and they sent me some AG opinions about our uncommitted account, and they said if it wasn't labeled emergency, then it could be used for other expenses that weren't seen coming up. That's the information I got on our uncommitted account. And if we're looking at 15,000 out of 350,000, then I don't think that'd put a big hickey in it.
This is Bayamani. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Just from a legal standpoint, the probability of trying 3 murder trials before the October budget is in place is between 10 and 20%. There is no way on this earth that we're going to have 3 murder trials between now and the new budget. Therefore, I think there will be sufficient money, and it's perfectly legal to use the uncontingent and uncommitted fund to transfer money to a newly created line item budget. The Commissioners Court has to make a motion and create that line item budget, and then make another motion to fund it from uncommitted and uncontingent. And that's the way you can move forward on this if that's your choosing.
okay, just to be clear, I did not say that we were going to have 3 murder trials before the first of the year. What I said was they would kick off, which goes into all the investigative work that surrounds that, and the legal maneuvering that takes place, whether or not they're going to try to plead some of these. So I know very well that there will not be a trial before them, but that does not mean that we won't be using the funds.
You're correct. But my point is that there is more than enough funds before the October budget pertaining to the legal expenses. You can be billed with those legal expenses between now and October, and you will have sufficient funds to take care of that. And you're also correct that there may not be 3 murder trials. Some of them may get pled out. So
I understand that. That's what I'm hoping for. So,
those are a lot of
So we-
contingencies that are not realistic.
okay. So we are dealing with the murder trials, and additionally, we're dealing with our response costs on the COVID-19, which I think it's a fair statement to say none of us have any idea where that's going. So those are the two elephants in the room: the murder issues and the virus that we're currently dealing with. Whether or not we have indigent patients that come down with this stuff and have to go to the hospital at our expense. Those could run into big numbers. So I think it would be a bit irresponsible to say we're going to have plenty of money left over. Anyway, having said that, gentlemen.
Judge, can I make a suggestion?
I'm sorry?
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
If the commissioners want to pursue this before next year's budget, I think Commissioner Edwards, Morales, and Bruns all put an additional $100,000 in road materials during last year's budget. I would suggest they take that money out of that line item if they're going to adjust the current year's budget.
Okay. Commissioners,
Who was that?
you have a
Rusty?
comment on that?
Was that Rusty?
It was Rusty.
Yeah.
And-
Okay.
and,
I couldn't tell who was talking. Okay.
it's just hopefully it's not a matter of time, but it could happen any day where we have an indigent individual that walks into Joanne's office and is in need of hospitalization, whatever the case is. So I don't think that we should be saying we have extra money. With that, do any of the commissioners have a comment?
Judge, I think we should make the motion to create a budget line item for the creation of the new EMS station. We'll get that at least on the books.
Is that in the form of a motion, Mr. White? Do we have a second on that?
That was
That
Edwards.
was,
That was Edwards.
Judge,
We have a second on it. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carries
Well,
3-2.
but we didn't say where that money would come from.
No,
That
we
would-
didn't.
That would be the second
can I say
motion.
something? This is Rusty.
You've got to make a second motion to fund that line item now. And you have to say where the money's coming from.
That's not on the agenda.
That's not on the agenda.
I don't think the motion that you just made can be not on the agenda.
That is on the agenda because they're discussing the design, the approval and the design and placement of the EMS station. And part of that is getting the funds in place to do a design.
And
Make the motion for.
You've got to change the budget. This isn't going to be a line item transfer, a budget amendment. You've got to change the budget.
Right, we're adding to the budget. We're adding a new line item that just happened. That is legal. They have the authority to do that.
Is it on the agenda?
Yes, sir, it is.
I didn't see it.
It's on the discussion, action, and approval of a design. They're discussing how to fund the design for EMS. Wait,
Of the design.
would you please allow me to finish?
In here, Warren.
this conversation can't take place, Rusty, if you keep interrupting me. I don't interrupt you. I'm asking you to please, I'm begging you, please do not interrupt me.
Go ahead, Counselor.
The agenda is broadly placed where they're talking about discussing action and approval of trying to get a design and a location in place. Part of a design is funding that process.
He's saying that we don't have a line to do this. We didn't have it on the
Well, you
agenda.
should create a line, but that's something off your agenda a while ago.
You've done it.
I said we create a line and we disapproved to put a line item for the creation of EMS station. Rusty's
Right.
saying we can do this because it's not on the agenda.
Oh, he said we can't add where we take the money from.
Right, but Rob's telling him you can. So you make the motion.
Yeah, go do whatever you guys feel you need to do. That's all I'm saying. This is so broadly laid
Okay,
out
this-
in the agenda. You guys have lots of room.
Right, this
Okay,
day,
so what I would suggest is that you make your motion, you voted on it. Now you need to figure out where the money is coming from and making a motion on that. Vote, and then we'll move on to the next one. We can check the legalities of this. After this is over, this is a difficult way to have a commissioner's court meeting. So that's what I'd recommend, that you make a motion as to where you want the money to come from, vote on it, and then we'll move on.
okay, this David, and I make a motion that we fund that line item with contingent and uncommitted
Need a second?
monies.
Wait, you have to say how much money you're gonna put in it.
Well, we'll start with 16,000, I guess. That's what the transit building started with. So,
That was just a remodel, Commissioner. That wasn't a total new construction. And there will be surveying costs involved and all sorts of things in the design platform.
why we have to survey it? It's county property already.
Right.
Are you talking about using the piece of ground in between the sheriff's office and the food pantry?
Yes, sir.
Because in the motion, I didn't hear that mentioned.
What the motion did was create a line item so they could hire a designer to see what, then you take the next step, since you all are familiar with construction, then you can go out for bids. They're just trying to get the design down.
Okay. Whenever I'm doing it.
We're not ready to build it yet. We just want to see what we need and how much it'll cost us. We need to get the architect involved. I feel like to get an idea to send out for bids to see what it is going to cost us.
Okay, so do you want to approve an amount then?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Put 16,000 in there. Let's start with that.
Okay. Need a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Aye. Okay. Motion carries. I would recommend that you get with the auditor to work out some of the details on this, Commissioner Edwards. Okay.
How's he gonna meet with you?
Next item on the agenda. Discuss action, approve each budget line transfer be listed as a separate agenda item, including the amount taken from the line and where it was put. Commissioner Edwards?
Yes, sir. And I see on this first agenda, this is the first one I've seen. We do have that in our consent agenda, the line item transfers that I have not personally been seeing before this meeting.
Okay,
And
so
That's what I want to see, and I want to discuss with the commissioners whether this is adequate to have that included in our consent agenda, or if we want to make these budget line transfers and journal entries a separate agenda item. And I just want to discuss it with the other commissioners, how they feel about it.
Okay. Commissioner Morales?
Yeah, I'd like to see them continue with any journal entries and or line item transfers seen in our packet, and then we can pull them out if we need to, if we have questions or not, like we normally do.
Okay. Commissioner Bruns?
Yeah, I'm good with what Commissioner Morales said.
Commissioner White?
What line item are you talking about? I'm curious. I'm trying to figure out, which line item transfer we're talking about. What we transfer in our budget, or
Yes, like you filled one out. You filled one out this last week, it looks like.
no, I didn't fill one out last week, but I filled one out a while back. But yeah, is that what we're?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
sir,
what
just
we're
to make
talking
it,
about.
So
just to make it transparent where we get a copy of them. We used to get a copy of them in our packet.
We're like,
And we
we're
got a
running-
copy.
like we're running short in one line item, we can transfer out of another into that same line item. That's what we're discussing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I ain't got a problem with that.
All right.
I just felt like we needed to be able to see it, in cases any other department also that transfers money from one line to the other.
I mean,
I have not personally been seeing any line item transfers
Well,
until this just recently.
my question is, that was what my understanding. We're allowed to do that as our budget, to manage our budget the way we see fit to need to do stuff when we're short one or the other. I mean, I thought that was a given already. Because I've never seen where any of y'all have transferred money either, ever. But,
I haven't in my department this year. I haven't.
Mickey, this is Alonzo. I had this year already, and there was a couple of mine in there in that last packet, or packet before that.
and that's fine. I mean, that's what we have to do to manage our budget, correct?
Yes.
That's correct. We're not stopping that. I mean, that's fine. We can do that within our budget. So
Right.
we just want to see them is what we want
Right.
to do.
That's fine. I'm good with whatever. I'm good with that.
Okay.
Commissioner Edwards, do you have a motion associated with this agenda item?
I guess just to clear it up, we should go ahead and make a motion, but what we've got on the current agenda is perfect. I mean, we got all the bills, we have the line item transfers. I think if we just continue with that, and then if we have any questions, we can always pull them out and discuss them before we do the consent agenda.
So do you wish to take no action on this agenda item?
I'll leave that up to the rest of the commissioners. If they're happy with it the way it is, yeah, we can just leave it with no action, but it's up to, and maybe the council might want to weigh in on what we should do here.
It's whatever you guys are happy with. I'm not sure. I definitely hear what you're saying, that everything that's been provided on this particular Commissioners Court meeting is what you would like to see in the future. And that has not always happened. So I don't know that you need to take any action at this time, but if it continues like this, then that's great. And if it has an interruption and that you're not getting the bills and you're not seeing where money is being transferred from one item to the other, then you may need to make that part of your policy, and that the auditor and treasurer have to provide you that information to every commissioner's court.
This is Alonzo. Commissioner Edwards, I would make a motion to that effect, that we see those transfers, journal entries on every packet, if there are any.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the, I'm,
I've got, I need to point out to the commissioners that in 2018, they relinquished their oversight of the same thing that they just voted on. I would think they would have to rescind that motion they made in 2019, or excuse me, 2018.
I don't know.
David,
No, that's it. That's incorrect. By doing this motion, they have overruled the previous motion. They have a right to change their mind.
To be perfectly clear, I would think the motion should have that in it.
Okay, Mr. Baimonti is saying it's not necessary, Rusty, so we'll go with what he says on this particular one.
Okay, I'll check with that.
All right, so okay. Next, we have approval, certification, and assurances for financial year 2020 as part of the application for state and federal funding to rural transit. Ms. Wade, are you online? Ms. Wade? I don't hear. This is just a renewal for fiscal year 2020. I have not read the entire document. It's 29 pages thick. It's supposed to be the same one that we had last year. Having said that, it says the summary of changes written across the top. If Ms. Wade is not here, I'm going to move that we have no action on this, and we'll bring it up on the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Judge, if I may interrupt, I think there's a deadline for this to be in. I read in there somewhere.
Okay,
Yeah.
well.
And also, I remember reading this document and approving it. There's a couple of spots I have written out. If you go through that document, Judge, you'll see where I've added a few little things. But you can, I don't see any problem in moving forward with it.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I would make a motion that we approve it.
I'll
Need a
second.
second?
I'll
All in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Aye.
carries.
I'm sorry, I've given an eye.
All right, the next item is to approve Shirley McMillan to the Gulf Bend Center Board of Trustees. I have a letter. Do you have the letter in your packet from Jeffrey Tonal?
Yes, I do.
Okay, then if you've read that, then I would make a motion that we reaffirm her and put her up on the board again.
This David,
I'll
so
second that,
moved.
Judge.
Oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner Bruns, discussion action to pick 2 members from Commissioner's Court to be on the Goliad Memorial Auditorium Committee.
Yes, the city approved that one change in the interlocal agreement, I'm sorry. So my suggestions would be Commissioner Edwards, since it sits in his precinct, and myself. I sat on the committee before and had a lot to do with the roof and stuff like that. So I would suggest myself and Commissioner Edwards
Okay.
be the 2 county committee members.
Is that a formal motion, Commissioner Bruns?
Yes, it is.
I'll second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carries. Item number 8, discussion action approval. What bills can be paid on the consent agenda without Commissioner's Court approval? Commissioner Edwards?
Here again, Judge, I just want to bring it up to the court to discuss. I know that, you know, we have reoccurring bills like the water bills and insurance bills and things like that, that can be paid before we, I guess the word is ratify them at our next meeting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that all that's, I just want to know what other bills can be done that way before we approve them?
Currently, we're only doing regularly scheduled bills and ratifying them later.
Okay, so by that, we're talking insurance, water bills, electric bills.
All regularly scheduled bills, reoccurring bills.
Now, attorneys, things like that, that still has to go before us before they're paid? Attorney bills, things like that, because they're kind of regular, but they're usually different people. Or are they lumped into that too?
I don't know. I'll have to check on attorneys specifically.
This David, I think we can get a list from the IG office because they're the ones that control that. And they're the ones that allowed us to go back to 2 meetings a month instead of the 1 meeting every week. I would think they have a list of what they call reoccurring bills and checks.
So, Commissioner Edwards, what's your pleasure on this agenda item?
That's all I wanted to do was just discuss it with the other commissioners to make
Okay.
sure we're all kind of on the same page as to what bills we have okay to be paid before we vote on. That's
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Commissioner Edwards, I was just saying the regular reoccurring bills, whatever that list pertains to.
yes, sir. I agree. But
Okay.
Judge, can we get that when you get it? Would you share that list with us?
Oh, I didn't know I was going out for it. I thought that Commissioner
okay.
Bruin said he
Okay.
was doing that.
No, I didn't say I was doing it. I just said the AG office should have that list.
Okay. Well, I heard IG, so I was confused.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Attorney General, AG, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Do any of the commissioners have a public announcement? Okay. I'll give you an update. We have our first confirmed case in Goliad County for the COVID-19 virus. We're expecting our numbers to move up a little bit. I would encourage everyone to practice the social distancing and to use their heads. Stay out of people's face and environments where you're subject to be exposed. The only weapon we have is separation. We have no other weapon currently. So with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
Judge, are we still receiving the updates from our emergency management, or are those current updates, or how's he doing dispensing that information now?
It was my understanding that he's sending out an email to everyone in county government.
This David, and I have not received anything since the 23rd or the 25th. I went to the website and there had not been anything on there. No update since middle of last week, I think, is what I had saw.
Well, last week we didn't have any. Thursday and Friday of last week there was nothing that changed.
No changes.
There was nothing that changed yesterday. We received word this morning that there is a positive case in our county. There are several more under observations. We don't post stuff just for the sake of posting it, but we have, I think, been pretty good about posting everything that involved the change.
Okay.
Judge.
So that's gonna come out on the website, Judge, or is that gonna come out to our emails?
I don't know. Pam is out today. She has the credentials to get in the website. I can have Jimmy put any updates that he
Judge
has
Bennett?
out. I'm sure that he's
Judge
doing
Bennett? Judge Bennett, can you hear me?
that. I can.
You can. I will be doing an update. We haven't had any changes like the judge said, but over the weekend it's been a lot of things going on, and I intend to get an update out to all of the county officials, elected officials, and we'll get that out this afternoon with all these updates. I've been on the phone this morning with Victoria Health Department and everything else. So it's been between Victoria and San Antonio. So we will get the updates out to you, the county people, as soon as I get that all organized.
And just as an aside, Victoria went from 3 on Friday to 9 this morning. So they have tripled their positives in the last 2 days.
Judge,
Yes.
the positive in Goliad County, are they at quarantined at home or are they in the hospital? Can you tell us?
The one that's positive is in the hospital. The ones that are under observation are quarantined at home.
Okay.
Jimmy, do you have a emergency management website, or is that just included in the regular county website?
Well, let me explain to you the situation here. You cannot create a Facebook page, website, Facebook page for a government entity until you go through a lot of steps.
Okay.
They are
okay.
being taken place. So when we get the okay from Brian, we will have a Facebook page. But until then, I just put it out on my Facebook page
Right.
to try to keep people going.
Okay.
Yeah, but Jimmy, like me, I don't have Facebook on mine.
You better get it.
I think that anything that's available, Alonzo, will be on the website as well. Today, we just can't post anything because she's out.
Lonzo, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Jimmy.
So, I need a motion to adjourn, please.
So
we have any
moved.
more comment from any of the public judge? Or
I'm sorry?
you did the public announcements and all that at the beginning?
I did the public announcements at the beginning. I'm not opposed to the public being allowed to speak if they want to unmute their phone and do their 3 minutes. Does anyone have anything they'd like to say? Okay, I'll take that as a no. We're looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it. This is David.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Uh,
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.